Good morning and good evening, and welcome to the second day session of Linux administration. So, today, like last day, what we did is we have discussed something about the Linux and Unix principle, and we have discussed something about what is single user and what is multi user, and we have discussed something about Linux features like multi user, multitasking. Then we also discussed something about the security. We discussed something about communication. We discussed something about help. How do we get help from the operating system? Then we also discussed something about the architecture, right? We have discussed something about the architecture. So architecture is nothing but how the operating system really works, right? So this is what exactly we have discussed, right? So this is the things that we have already discussed. So we did not go more detailedly into something called architecture of the Linux, okay, or Unix, we can say. So what is the architecture? Yesterday we have discussed the architecture exactly, saying that we have something like four layers in the operating system. And when it comes to operating system, that is nothing but we have discussed that we have a user, right? We have a user, or we call it as app application. Then below this, we have something called shell. Below this, we have something called kernel. And below this, we have something called hardware. So when I talk about hardware, we have something called CPU. We have something called memory. We have something called disk. Okay. As well as something called network. This is all something comes under hardware resources, right? And we have discussed in detail about each and every layer here. Okay, we discussed like kernel and shell is nothing but operating system, and user is nothing but we all come under something called users. Getting it? So this is what exactly, and we also discussed a lot of things here. We have two types of user. One is root user, another one is normal user, and we also have um, um, like whenever you try to log into the machine, by default we get a shell, and we have discussed that there is a bash is a default shell inside the Linux. What is a shell? Bash is a default shell inside the Linux. This is what we have discussed. And whenever you run any command using the bash, using the shell, it will go to the kernel. Kernel is nothing but it's a converter which converts human readable to machine readable and machine readable to human readable, right? And then it passes this information to the hardware. What hardware does, it processes at the hardware level, and again it sends the information to the kernel. From kernel, it goes to the shell. This is what exactly how it is going to go with, right? So this is all the information we have discussed yesterday. Now let me take you into the slide here, and I just want to show you what is the features of the shell. So whenever we talk about a shell is a working environment for a user, right? A user, when they have to run some command, it is shell is going to act as a working environment for a user, and shell is the interface between the user as well as kernel. Shell is the interpret, right? It interprets the commands, and then shell is also called as a command checker. So why shell is called command checker? Let me show you this. I'm going to connect to my machine. This is the machine. I'm using a tool called putty to connect my remote machine here. This is what. And what I do is I'll try to put the user name here, and I'll try to log. So whenever I try to log into my machine here remotely, so let me run something called, there is a command called pwd. This is called pwd, stands for present working directory discard. It is something called what? Present working directory discard, right? So as you see, this PWD stands for present working directory. And now what we will do is I'll try to show you. I told you, right, shell is a command checker, right? Assume that I'm running a command called ls or I'm running a command called pwd. See, I'm trying to put a command like this. It immediately gives you information. Pwdd command not found, right? Or else LSS command not found. Like this is something called a command checker here. It checks the command and shell is built in with C language. Shell is built in with what? C language, right? And many shells are available. Many shells are there in one operating system. Like we have a bash shell, we have a Bourne shell, we have a C shell, we have a corn shell, we have a Z shell. These are all different types of shells that we can find, right? So basically, let me show you the default shell here. How do we see the default shell? You can just use echo dollar out shell. This is going to give you the default shell, right? Now I will show you the shells that are available inside the Linux operating system. See, I am using a cat. Cat is a command to read a file. Okay, even cat command, using a cat command, we can create a file also. But right now we are using this cat command to read the data, right? So we have a file with the name called EPC shells, right? Whenever you get into this particular file, you will be able to see the list of shells. Can you see the list of shells? This is what. Right now you will ask me, sir, this only two shells it is supporting? Yes. Right now it is supporting only two shells because the other shells, if you install the packages, you will be able to get the other shells, right? Right now, when it comes to the Linux, Bash and Bourne shell are the two important shells that we get defaultly. We getting it. So this is what exactly. So remember this. Cat etc shell is a file. I mean, etc shell is a file where you find all the default shells, right? So this is what exactly how it is going to go with. Yeah. So now, like, one minute. Yeah. So this is what exactly how it is going to go with. Now, good. You have understood like what is, I mean, where the shells are located. Now you might also have a question like, can I change my shell? Yes, 100%. Just type the shell name and automatically the shell will change. But this is only temporary purpose. This is only temporary purpose. And right now, I will just try to show you echo dollar of shell is going to give you the default shell, right? And if you really want to know, if you really want to know what is the, you know, uh, what is the active shell, you have to run something called echo dollar of zero is going to give you the active shell. What it is going to give? Echo dollar of zero will give you active shell. Echo dollar of shell will give you the default shell. Getting it? So this is the way how you're going to okay find out like whether you are working on default shell or whether you are working on active shell. You're going to find it out. This is the way. Now you will ask me, how do I exit from this particular shell? So you have to just say exit. It automatically exits from the whatever the active shell you are working on, and it switch back to the default shell. So this is all about how we are going to work with the shell here, right? And remember, shell is built in with C language. Many shells are available inside the operating system. Shell has a scripting capability. Using shell, you can write the script here. Using shell, what you can do, you can write the scripts here. Are you getting it? So this is very, very important thing that you need to understand. Using shell, what you can do, you can write the scripting, right? And due to shell, A Linux and Unix has more features. Using because of shell, Linux and Unix has many features. This is what exactly the important points or important features of the shell. Right? Now let me take you here. These are the types of shell that you can find inside the Linux. What are the different types of shells we have? Let me, yeah. So this is what exactly the default shells here. Like we have a Bourne shell, we have a C shell, we have a enhanced C shell, we have a bash shell, we have a Z shell, we have a corn shell. These are different types of shell. And remember, now many times you will have a question, sir, how does this bash name came into an existence? Basically, it is called ball again shell. So they have taken B from born, A from again, and SH from shell. That is the reason the bash has come here. Right? This is what exactly different types of shell, and we have already discussed that. This is the file where you can find all the shells, and this is the command that is going to give you the default shell, and this is the command that is going to give you the active shell, and env is the command that is going to print the environment variables for the user, right? So whenever I'm talking about environment variables, every user will have the environment variable. So whenever you run env is the command that is going to give you the environment variables. This is going to give you environment variables. Is it clear? Right? Env is nothing but environment variables. Right? And apart from env, there are many commands. I mean, there are another two different commands to list the environment variables. One is set. Using set also, you can list the environment variables. Using set command, we can list the environment variables for the user. And apart from this, there is one more command that is called print env. We have a command called print env is also a command that will help you out in listing the environment variables. Is it clear? Understanding, right? So this is all about how we are going to list the environment variables for the user, right? So we have three different commands. Remember, one is env, the another one is set, the another one is print env. This is the command that we are going to use. Okay, so make a note of this. And now we are going to see something about, you know, we are going to see something about the kernel, right? Now we are going to talk about basics, shell basics here. So what is the shell basics? Command entered at the shell prompt has three basic parts. See, whatever the command I'm entering at the shell, right? It has three basic parts here. The first one is something called command to run. Second one is options to adjust the behavior of the command. And the third one is the argument. Okay, so what is this exactly? How it works? Let's see. So, see, whenever you work with any command, whenever you work with any command, remember the command has okay, something called options. So you'll ask me, sir, how I'm going to see the options? You can use man followed by the command. So can you see this is called option? This is called option. This is called option. This is called options. Can you see this? Now, okay. Now we have something called options followed by the argument. So what is argument here? Like for example, I'm running ls. Okay, let's do one thing. I'm getting into a directory called etc. I'm running a command called ls. Now, can you see that it is listing all files and directories here, right? Remember, whatever it is showing you in text color, this is something called file. Whatever it is showing you in blue color, that is nothing but a directory, right? So whenever you run ls, it is giving you a list of files and directories here, right? But you will say that, boss, I'm listing the files and directories, that is okay. but I need more information about this file. What is meant by more information? I just need something called permissions. I need something called creation date and time. I need ownership. I need groupship. Then what I have to do? I need to use something called option. I need to use something called what? Option here. Are you getting it? So remember, there should be a single space between the command as well as option. There should be a single space between the command as well as option. Right? Now press and enter here. Now do you see that behavior here? The behavior has changed. It has given you the detailed information. This is the command and this is an option. Are you getting it? Right? So whenever you're using an option, the behavior of the output has changed. Now it is giving you permissions, it is giving you link count, it is giving you owner as well as group, it is giving you the size, it is giving you the month, date, and time, and followed by the name of the file or directory. This is what exactly it is giving you. Right? So this is the way how you are going to use the command followed by the option. Now you might have a question. I'm using command followed by the option, but I want to use argument. The argument is something like this, var log message. Because someone said that the message file is located somewhere in var log message. So what I'm going to do, I'm using a command followed by the option followed by the argument. And remember, we have a single space between the command followed by the option and followed by the argument. Now, can you see this? Is it giving the information about this file? Yes. Now you will say that, is it mandatory for me to use option all the time? Not required. You can use command followed by the argument also you can use, right? So this is all depends on your requirement. Remember, always there is no, it is not mandatory to use command followed by the option, followed by the argument is not mandatory. If your requirement is getting filled with command followed by the argument, use that. If your requirement is not fulfilling with the command followed by the argument, then use the option, right? So this is what exactly the importance about whenever you are trying to run a command based on the shell. I hope it's clear, right? So this is what exactly how it is going to work.
Hello,
Now,
now
let me
here
tell
one
you.
doubt.
Yeah, please tell me.
List minus option you are giving, right? We can give LT alt or also, right?
Yeah, we did not get more detail into it. Right now, I'm just showing you how to use a
Okay.
command followed by the option followed by the argument. Right?
Okay.
We will be discussing all the options later. We have a dedicated session on LS. Then there we will discuss it. Right? So now that this is what exactly how to run the commands based on the shell. Now we are going to talk something about the features of the shell here. So right now, which shell we are using? We are using something called bash shell. Right? We are using something called what? Bash shell. So as we are using something called bash shell here, remember one thing, right? Bash has some features. What is the feature? The feature is something called tab completion. The second one is something called history because it is going to maintain the command history. It is going to maintain what? Command history. Getting my point. So how do we use this? How this tab completion will help me out? Let me show you. See, someone asked me to read a file called varlog message, right? Then I'm facing difficulty in typing this particular word. Do one thing, put the meta character of that particular file and press a tab. It automatically fills that word. It automatically fills that particular word. This is something called tab completion. Are you getting it? This is something called tab completion. Right? Now press and enter. By basically, we are not allowed to read this particular log file because I am what kind of user? I am a normal user. That is the reason we are not, I am not permitted to read this particular file. right? Then I will tell you what is the benefit of tab completion. For example, I just want to list all the commands that starts with PS. So I'll put the meta word called PS and press the tab for twice. It is going to give me the list of all the commands that matches with a meta character or meta word called PS, right? So this is what exactly how the tab completion is going to work, right? So then apart from this, we also have something called bash support, something called history, right? So you can run something called history command here. It is going to give you the list of commands that you have previously run in a form of history here, in a form of history here. Is it clear? So this is the way how you're going to go ahead, right? Now, now you might have a question here, sir. How many commands history it is going to maintain, right? So basically, it maintains 1,000 commands history. How many? 1,000 commands history. Now you will also have a question, sir. Where it is written that it is going to store 1,000 commands history? So whenever you run env, that is called environment variables. When you list the environment variable, here it is going to show you the history size of the commands is 1,000. So you might also have a question here, sir. After the 1,000 commands, what it does? It is going to erase in, first out format. It is going to erase in, first out format. It is going to. Are you getting it? So this is what exactly the importance about the history. Now you will also have a command here. Can I execute any command from the history? Can I execute any command from the history? Yes, 100% you can execute. To execute a command from the history, what you need to know? You should know the number. So put the exclamatory followed by the number. It will execute that particular command from the history and it gives you an output. So this is the way how we are going to work with. Now you will also have a question here. Sir, can I clear the history? Why not? 100%. You can clear the history like this. Right now, the history has cleared. Oh, it is not clear. History hyphen or zero something it is there. So hyphen C zero. I think. Now this is what exactly it will clear. See now history is clear. How did it be clear? History hyphen C, then followed by zero. This is what exactly it is going to clear the history, right? So this is all about how we are going to work with the history command. Okay. So now good, everything is fine. Now you have understood something about the history here, tab completion, that's well. And now whenever you want to log into the Linux machine, basically, especially we discussed, right? You can connect locally by putting a username and password. The another one is you can connect remotely. So whenever you're connecting remotely, in case if you want to connect from Windows to Linux, we have to connect with a tool called Putty. Or there are many tools like Putty, you have to use that. For example, if you have Linux to Linux, if you want to connect Linux to Linux, you have to use this command. What is the command? SSH followed by the username at the rate remote machine IP address or host name. This is going to give you the information about, this is going to allow you to connect the remote machine, right? So nothing to worry. We will also discuss about this command, okay, in a future classes. There's nothing. So this is what exactly. Now we are going to talk something about the kernel. So we have already discussed that kernel.
Balachandar, sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
please.
I have one question. Is there any mechanism if I need to restrict the history output by only certain lines instead of the entire history?
Yes, you can set the environment variable. History is equals to
Okay,
instead
because
of 1,000.
some of our servers, so there probably they have configured some kind of a hardening, and it lists only certain lines only. Like it won't display the complete history.
Yes, it will show you only 10, 15, or only that session history it will maintain. If you
Yeah,
just
even I
take
have seen
some,
both. Like on certain host, we have just our session history only. Like I cannot see the entire history, and then there are some hosts where we can see the history, but up to certain lines only. And third option is where I have seen the complete history.
yes. So yes, you need to set the environment variables for that. And there sometimes in real time environment, they make history size as 0. So when they make history size as 0, even you're running a command just now, just a 10 seconds back, even you cannot get that command in history, right? So like this they maintain. So we have to write some in the environment variables so that it doesn't maintain any history there, right? So this is what is happening.
Okay.
So, right. So now we are going to talk something about the kernel. So what is kernel? So kernel is nothing but operating system, right? What does kernel do? Kernel just interacts with the hardware. Okay, kernel is going to act as a interface between what? Shell as well as kernel directly interacts with the hardware. There is only one kernel for one operating system. Many times people get confused here. For operating system, we have two kernels, three kernels, nothing like that. One kernel, one operating system. One operating system, one kernel. That's it. Okay. And kernel is the core of the operating system, and it controls and organizes what? Hardware. So, and kernel performs low level functions. Kernel performs low level functions such as process management, device management, memory management, interrupt handling, IO communication, file system management. This is all it is going to do. This is all it is going to do, right? So this is all the important things about the kernel, right? Many times at the interview point of view, okay, when you speak with someone, if you want to give something about the kernel, what is kernel? So you should really have this information with you. So this is all about the kernel. Right. And whenever I'm just talking about a kernel, basically we have three types of kernel exactly. One is monolithical kernel, microkernel, and we also have, hybrid kernel, or we call it as, we call it as a hybrid kernel, right? So this is what exactly. What is monolithical kernel? Monolithical kernel is a single large process running entirely in a single address space as a static binary file. Example is Linux and Unix, right? Microkernel is nothing but is broken down into two separate processes. One is something called kernel space, another one is called user space. So I just want to give you some example here. When you install operating system, it is not over Windows operating system. You need to install MS Office, you need to use Adobe Acrobat Reader, you need to install some players, you need to install antivirus, you need to install firewall. This all something comes under user space. This is all something comes under what? User space. This is how exactly it is going to go well, right? So this is all about how this micro kernel and monolithical kernel is going to work. But you might have a question here, sir, if I install Linux operating system, with Linux operating system, will I get Office? Yes. Inside the Linux, if you are using Linux in graphic mode, you get a LibreOffice within your DVD. You can install it and you can use as same as your MS Office. Are you getting that? So this is what. And Acrobat Reader also you'll get it. You'll get a lot of players. You'll get a lot of games. So many things you'll get it with the Linux. Because still now you did not use the Linux. Okay, that's the reason you never know it. So tomorrow we will try to install the Linux, that too in a graphic mode. Then you will come to know how the Linux operating system will work. Getting it? So this is what exactly how it is going to work. Clear? Understanding, right? So this is what is the importance here. Okay. Now let us go with introduction to genome desktop environment. So genome is nothing but it's a graphic environment for the operating system.
So, Bala,
Yes, please.
So, Bala, this overview, you'll be covering later on this individually, right? All the sections, or you're covering in one.
We are exactly in the session.
Yeah, because
So
too
we are
much of
in.
information. Yeah,
No,
because too much of
this is not.
information in one session, no?
This is very basic level information, and uh, okay, fine, no problem. This will be again repeated. That's not nothing to worry, right? Anyhow, you are going to get the recording and documentation also. Please go through it. And we just discuss only about kernel and shell only, right? And
Because
when we
in
start,
because in shell also it's active environment. Like so, how many different environments are there in shell? You said like work environment. For example, we have dev and test, right? So it's a different
no,
in.
no, no, that is not different. That environment is different.
Okay.
See, for every user, we can set the environment. For example, we have a production user. The environment for production user will be different. We have a user in development. Their environment is different. Why it is different, I will tell you. For example, the person who is working in production, my client might ask me to provide them a backshell. But the person who is working on dev, my client might say that they need only a bond shell, right? So like this, we are going to customize, right? And you are going to see all this customization somewhere in user administration. We have a dedicated session how to customize this environment for a user. We are going to see in user administration.
Okay,
Okay.
that
So,
I right. Okay.
yeah, there is a dedicated session for user administration where we will see how to enable the shells, how to activate the shells for a particular user. All these things we are going to see in user administration, right? And
Okay.
you should also know one more thing here. When we are working with Linux, the default shell is what? Bash. But in case if you are working with Unix, Unix is nothing but Solaris. The default shell is Bourne shell. And when you are working with AIX, the default shell is Conch shell, right? So, but still, every operating system supports all the list of shells here. Okay. But we also have a default shell. This is what exactly happens. So there is nothing to worry. Don't take it like it's an, you know, uh, the information is what we say heavy. Okay, these all topics again will be repeated in different topics, right? There's nothing to worry,
Okay. Right.
right? So fine. Now this is what exactly how we are going to go. Now and now we are going to see something about a genome desktop environment here. Genome is nothing but it's a graphic environment for a Linux operating system. So we will be discussing this detailedly later. And and we already discussed yesterday about the help, right? How do we get a help? Like we have a command called man, followed by the command called user. This is going to give you the help. And whatever the help that you are able to find on Google or you are trying to find using AI, ultimately we are getting it from here only. Here means someone like you and me, we kept it somewhere in some website using some video, using some images. You might keep this particular help, right? And when I search, I might come across this kind of helps here. But ultimately, the genuine help you are going to get it from the operating system only. And there are many ways to get the help. One is man, the another one is you can also use something called help. You can use something called help. Hyphen help I need to use. But help is going to provide you the help in short format. So within a single page, you're getting all the help with a short description. So always, whenever you start working with any command, what I recommend you is you have to look into the man page because this is the this is where you get a time when you are practicing. You have to read the man page and get more information about the commands, right? Remember, this is very important. Now let me go. There is a command called what is. So I'm going to put something called cron tab. Maybe sometimes this command doesn't work because the appropriate package is not installed, it doesn't work. But I will show you this later. This is all the information. So still now what we did is we have just to discuss something about the importance about kernel and shell. That's it. We did not go more. I mean, the other topics we did not discuss. Of course, we went little bit deep into the shell as well as kernel. That is what exactly important. Okay, the shell is very, very important for us. Whenever you're working, shell is very, very important. Right? Now we are going to discuss introduction to file system. So what is file system? Collection of files and directories is nothing but a file system. Simple definition. If anyone asks you what is file system, collection of files, collection of directories is known as file system. And remember, and many times we will also have a question. Sir, why we need a file system? Tell me. Why we need a file system? For example, you're using a Windows. What type of file system we use in Windows? We use something called NTFS. Have you seen any time how to see the file system on Windows? So just go to something called this PC and just right click here and you just see the properties. And whenever you see the properties, it is going to give you what type of file system on a C drive or a D drive or E drive it is being used. Right? At the same time, when it comes to Linux also, we have something called file system. Okay, what type of file system the Linux will support? Basically, inside right now, whatever the Linux operating system that we are going to use it, that is might be 8 or 9 or 10, it is by default support what? XFS. So what is meant by XFS? XFS stands for Scalable File System, it is called. XFS stands for what? Scalable File System, it is called. Getting it? But even Linux supports ext2, ext3, ext4. There are many types of file system that Linux will support, right? So many times we will have a question. So we have to run this particular command to know the file system. Can you see here? Type. It is giving you the file system. So this is the file system that we are using. Root. Can you observe this? XFS is a default file system. XFS stands for Scalable File System. XFS stands for what? Scalable File System. Remember, this is very, very important. XFS stands for Scalable File System. Clear? This is what exactly. Make a note of this command. DF stands for disk free. Hyphen H stands for human readable. Hyphen capital T stands for type. What type of file system? Okay, so this is what exactly how you're going to. Okay, and many times we have a question. So why we need a file system, right? Because when you buy a hard disk, when you divide the hard disk into partition, this partition is called raw partition. Okay, so raw partition doesn't understand the block data. That is the reason on top of this raw partition, we try to create a file system. What is this file system will do? It converts raw path into a block special path. Getting it? So this is what exactly how the file system is going to help you out, right? And remember, every operating system has its own file system. Whereas when you go for Windows, we have NTFS. Whereas we go for Linux, we have XFS. When you go for Unix, we have something called ZFS. When you go for AIX, we have JFS too. This is the type of file system that every operating system consists. And remember, for any file system, the definition is what? Collection of files and directories is known as file system. This is what exactly the importance. Is it clear? Right? So this is the importance about the file system here, right? And now what I will do is, before I discuss something about the directory structure, I will give you some information to set up a lab, right? So if you want to set up a lab, right, there are two ways to set up a lab here. One thing is, okay, first of all, make sure that you have enough resources on your laptop. Okay, so laptop, make sure that you have enough resources. Minimum 8 GB RAM you should have, and you should have with i3 or i5 or i7 or beyond that. Anything is okay. And I'm saying minimum is 8 GB RAM. Minimum is 8 GB. And beyond this, you can have up to 32 GB RAM or 16 GB RAM also. It's good, right? So this is what exactly the configuration that we need, right? This is related to the lab setup. So, and the disk space, I'm talking about the disk space here. Disk space, you need, maybe nowadays everyone has 500 GB hard disk, okay, or 1 TB hard disk is okay, right? So this is what we required. And the second thing is, and make sure that you're all having Windows operating system. Okay, Windows 10 or Windows 11 you should have. Then the next thing is, we need an application called VMware Workstation. Okay, you have to download this VMware Workstation. Now you might have a question, from where we have to download this VMware Workstation. Very simple, right? Go to this particular website. I'll try to give you the website link also here. There's nothing to worry. So go to the Google, just put VMware Workstation. Okay, download for Windows 10 or Windows 11, whatever it is, you just put it. Then just click on this first link here. Can you see this? So when you click on this first link, it will take you here, right? So do you see that we have VMware Workstation for Mac? We have VMware Workstation for Windows as well as Linux. Can you see this? So do one thing here, just try to click on this particular download. It immediately take you to this particular website, because VMware was undertaken by a company called Broadcom. That's the reason the VMware is redirecting the link to the Broadcom. Get it? So what you need to do here, very simple. You need to create an account here. You need to create what? An account here, right? So if you create an account, then it will allow you to log in. Once you log in, for example, uh, I'm just trying to log in. I don't remember the password, but still I will try. I'll put the password. I need to say forgot password. Maybe I don't remember the password right now. So you need to just, create. I mean, if you have an account, you need to create an. If you don't have an account, you need to create it. So how do you create an account? Just simple here. Just having a trouble login, click here. Just click on this. It will take you to the link where you need to click on something called register here. When you click on register, it will allow you to create an account from here, right? So do one thing. I'm going to give you the links here, the two links on the chat. So please save this in some notepad, some document, so that it will help you out in downloading the software. So from here, you need to download the VMware software, right? These are the two links. So in case if you are facing any difficulty in downloading the software, even let me know. I will try to share you the software. But initially you need to try. Initially you need to try this, right? This is what very, very important thing that you need to know, right? Okay, fine. You have downloaded the VMware. Now you will ask me, what about the Linux? If you really want to have a Linux operating system, we have access.redhat.com is the website. Go to this access.redhat.com, and what you do, you have to register here. You have to register here. Remember, I'm going to put even this link on the chat. Please note this particular links here. Go to the login. You have to click on login here. On the right corner, we have a login. Can you see this? On the right corner, we have a login. So if you have an account, just put your credentials here, then try to log in. In case if you don't have an account, just register from here. Okay, you have to register and Red Hat account here. Then put the necessary information here. You have to put your Red Hat login account name, password confirmation. You put all your details. You just select personal and put your all details and then create an account. So once you create an account, you might get a link to your registered email address to verify the account. After you verify the account, then do one thing. Now go to something called access.redhat.com, and click on something called downloads. When you click on downloads, you can see that you have something called Red Hat Enterprise Linux. You have to download this. If you want, you can download this also. Anything you can download. If you want, you can download two also. Getting it? This is what the way how you have to download it. Is it clear? But remember, in order to download this software, you should be in a login position. If you do not log in, then it doesn't allow you to download it. And remember, this is a huge, the image size is very big, 9 GB, 10 GB like it will be there. So don't worry, it takes some time. Make sure that you have a good internet speed to download this particular software. Are you getting it? So this is the way how you are going to download the Red Hat Linux operating system. Clear? In case if you are facing any difficulty, don't forget, please ping me on WhatsApp. I'll try to guide you. I'll try to help you out. Right? So this is all what you have to do it. And tomorrow what we will do is, first we will install VMware Workstation, and I will try to show you how to create a virtual machine, and I will show you how to install Linux operating system on your laptop. Right? Now take an example. This is all the process when you have a good configuration laptop. Right? For example, you will come to me, boss, I don't have good configuration laptop. Even I'm having 8 GB RAM, my laptop is very slow. What I have to do? Nothing to worry. I will help you out in creating an account on cloud, AWS cloud. Getting it? And I will help you out in creating EC2 instance, okay, for Linux. And I will show you how to connect. I will show you how to connect. This is what we can do. But what I recommend is please try to use your laptop, because if you go for cloud account, internet is a dependency. If you don't have proper internet connection, then you will not be able to use it. If you are creating a lab setup in your laptop, whenever you have a doubt, without internet connection, without any other thought, you can work the your lab setup. So this is what exactly. So any questions here? Let me know about this lab setup. Yes. Any doubts? Any questions here? Let me know. Definitely, you might have some questions and doubts. You can ask me. Vinay, Vinay, I hope today only you joined. Can you unmute and talk to me?
So this VMware we need to register in the broadcom, right?
Hello? Yeah, Vijay, you're saying something.
No, what I'm saying that to register this VMware, we need to register.
Your voice is too low, Vijay. I don't know, you're away from the mic, I think. You can also, even if you're flexible, you can type on the chat also whatever you're asking.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Now it is okay.
Yeah. No, actually, to register for to download this VMware, we need to register in the Broadcom, right?
Yes, you need to register in the previously we used to register in VMware. Right now you have to register in Broadcom.
Okay.
Yes, it's a free account only. There's nothing. Only you need to put personal. That's it. Then you can put register. You can download. In case if you are facing any difficulty, let me know. I'll help you out. Okay. Fine. Even in Linux also. Okay, it's very simple way to register and download the software. But in case if you are still facing an issue, let me know. Right. So this is what. So any
Okay.
other questions? Please. Yeah, please.
Now for this Linux, we need to have this hard disk installed, or it's okay with normal computers. Okay.
Normal. I'm telling you, normal desktop, normal laptop, but you should have minimum 8 GB RAM.
There you go.
Because we want to create a virtual machine, right? Even for the virtual machine, also we need to provide some resources. 2 GB RAM, one processor to minimum we need to provide. So that's the reason you need minimum 8 GB RAM. Right? If you don't have also nothing to worry. You will miss few steps, that's it. Okay, because you will just miss how to create a lab environment, how to install and all this thing. But you can create an instance in the cloud also, not a problem. It's a free account. You're not going to pay even 1 rupee also to the cloud. It's totally a free account. Is it clear? Right?
Yeah. Thank you.
This is what. So any other questions? Vinay, may I know like who referred you? Okay. Can you hear me right? Okay. So fine, then this is all about today's session. Tomorrow we will meet same time and we will set up a lab and we will go with other things. Right? So that's it for today. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Good day, good night. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.